I wasn't looking for him. That's the part one keep coming back to. The night didn't start with intention or longing. It started with restlessness, the kind that settles in your chest and makes even familiar spaces feel uncomfortable. I had spent the evening doing ordinary things, convincing myself that tomorrow would feel lighter. It didn't. Welcome to Heartstrings and Scars, where we unravel the untold stories of love, betrayal, and the life-changing lessons they leave behind. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join our growing community. We promise you stories that will make you reflect, question, and maybe even see yourself in the characters we share. The house felt too quiet. Every sound echoed. The ticking clock, the hum of the refrigerator, my own footsteps moving from room to room with no real destination. I told myself to sleep. I lay down, closed my eyes, turned over, then turned back again. Nothing. My mind kept drifting, not to memories, not to regrets, just to the absence of someone else's presence. The quiet wasn't peaceful anymore. It was heavy, and somehow, without meaning to, I thought of him. Not in a dramatic way, not with urgency, just a simple thought that refused to leave. He wasn't someone I had been searching for. He wasn't someone I talked about often, but he was someone who made silence feel less empty. I checked the time. Too late to justify going out. Too late to explain anything properly. I almost stayed. I sat at the edge of the bed, shoes still untouched by the door, telling myself this was unnecessary, that whatever I was feeling would pass if I gave it time. But the feeling didn't ask for logic. It asked for movement. The drive was quiet, streets nearly empty, lights stretching long shadows across the pavement. I kept both hands on the steering wheel, my thoughts moving slower with every mile. I didn't text him. I didn't want to turn it into a conversation before it happened. When I parked outside his place, I hesitated again. The engine stayed on longer than it should have. I watched the porch light glow softly, wondering if this was a mistake. Then I turned the engine off. I knocked, lightly, almost apologetically. The door opened after a moment. His expression shifted from surprise to something gentler. "Hey," he said. "You okay?" I nodded. "I think so. I just couldn't stay where I was." He stepped aside without another word. Inside, the air felt warmer. Familiar, but not intrusive. He offered me a seat, then sat across from me, leaving space, the kind of space that lets you choose closeness instead of assuming it. We didn't talk right away. The silence wasn't awkward. It felt intentional. "I wasn't planning to come here," I said finally. I didn't even know where I was driving until I got close. He smiled slightly. "Sometimes that happens." We talked slowly, about small things, about nothing important, about everything that fills the gaps when people don't want to rush into the truth too quickly. At some point, our conversation faded into quiet again. I noticed how calm I felt, how my shoulders had dropped without me realizing. "I feel better here," I admitted. He nodded. "I was hoping you would." That honesty caught me off guard. I looked at him, then really looked, not searching for answers, just acknowledging the moment. The night felt suspended, like it was waiting for something but not demanding it. He moved closer, just enough for me to notice, not close enough to force anything. "I'm glad you came," he said. So was I. When he kissed me, it wasn't sudden. It wasn't rushed. It was careful, like he wanted to make sure I was fully there, not running from something else. The kiss was soft, lingering, familiar in a way that felt earned, not assumed. I rested my forehead against his afterward, breathing in the quiet. "I wasn't looking for this," I whispered. "I know," he replied. "Sometimes it finds you anyway." We stayed like that for a while, not talking, not moving, just sharing the space between us. the kind of closeness that doesn't need explanation. Eventually, the night deepened. My thoughts slowed. The restlessness that brought me there finally loosened its grip. I realized something then. I hadn't gone to him because I was searching for answers. I had gone because I needed to feel grounded. And somehow I did. When I finally slept, it was peaceful. And in the morning, as the light crept in quietly, I understood the truth. I wasn't looking for him, but I ended up there because sometimes the heart knows where to go, before the mind catches up. Morning arrived slowly, not with an alarm or urgency, but with light, pale and careful, slipping through the curtains as if it didn't want to wake anyone too suddenly. I noticed it before I opened my eyes. The warmth beside me, the unfamiliar comfort of not being alone. For a moment, I stayed still listening. The house was quiet in that early morning way, when the world hasn't fully decided to begin yet. I could hear his breathing, steady, calm, and it grounded me in a way I hadn't expected. Last night hadn't been dramatic. No promises were made. No lines were drawn. And yet, something had shifted. I opened my eyes and stared at the ceiling, letting the memory of the night settle gently instead of rushing to define it. I wasn't anxious. I wasn't guilty. I was simply aware that I felt lighter. Careful not to wake him, I slipped out of bed and padded quietly into the kitchen. The floor was cool under my feet. I found a mug, filled it with water, then paused, unsure whether to make coffee or wait. The smell of coffee filled the air anyway a few minutes later. He must have woken up while I was standing there, lost in thought. "Morning," he said softly. I turned around. He stood there, hair slightly messy, eyes still heavy with sleep. He smiled, not wide, not performative, just real. "Morning," I replied. We stood there for a second, not awkward, just new. "Did you sleep okay?" he asked. I nodded. "Better than I have in a long time." He didn't comment on that. He just poured himself a cup and leaned against the counter beside me. The silence between us felt different now. Not empty, not heavy, comfortable, honest. "I was wondering if you'd regret coming," he said gently. I thought about it for a moment. "No," I said. "I don't." That surprised even me. We talked over coffee, not about what last night meant, but about small things. Plans for the day. Things we'd been putting off. Stories that had nothing to do with us, but somehow said everything. At one point, he looked at me and said, "I don't want to rush this." "I don't either," I replied, and that was enough. When it was time for me to leave, the moment didn't feel heavy. No hesitation, no confusion, just a quiet understanding that something real had been shared, even if it didn't yet have a name. At the door, he kissed me once, soft, unassuming. "Text me when you get home," he said. "I will." The drive back felt different from the drive there. The streets were brighter now, the world awake, and for the first time in a while, I didn't feel like I was running from something. I wasn't looking for him that night, but I ended up there, and the morning after reminded me that sometimes the most meaningful moments don't demand answers right away. They just ask you to be present. If stories like this speak to you, the quiet ones about connection, timing, and unspoken moments, you're welcome here. You can subscribe to this channel